this is a thing. FOMO comes out of insecurity of thinking that someone else is better than you.
Yeah.
And in this market, since everything is moving so quickly and so intensely, it's easy to get caught up in that. But you can't operate out of fear of missing out.
Absolutely, and that's so key in this moment. It's really important to understand this, because you will see, I mean, hundreds of different news just scrolling down your Instagram. Because, I mean, if you decided to buy this course, probably you find out about Crypto XL on Instagram, maybe on YouTube, I don't know, maybe a friend. But I bet in your profile you follow other 10, 20, 100 pages, or you follow 10 YouTube channels, and you get all of this information. You don't understand who has the results, who is actually explaining you stuff they have done in the space, in the market. You don't understand anything, and it's easy
Right.
to miss in this. You know, it's too easy to just follow the advice of a person than blaming that person,
right,
for your mistakes.
Absolutely. Well, and this brings us to the next part, which is hype. What do you understand about hype, Nico? Can you share a little bit with us?
Yeah. So basically, this is so connected, because in this moment, the easiest example I can give, for example, let's say I have a student that has a group of different students in the NFT space in Italy. And then I'm just taking this as an example, but we can apply this on anything. And basically, it just takes one influencer, one YouTube channel, one big leader, maybe a big leader that doesn't know shit about that market, but is big in social media or whatever. And everybody get the emotion and starts to feel like, oh, I can't wait for this to happen. I can't wait to invest money in this. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for that, right? And you feel like these huge expectations, a lot of time without any reason. Because if you take a step back and you analyze projects, and a lot of the projects that are pumped up by the hype of thousands of people that just follow advices from random people, what we just said, And it's crazy because if you take a step back, you understand rationally it's not that good. Maybe that project, it's not, you don't understand the reason why there is this kind of hype. And it's not so predictable. I saw in different markets, you cannot, it's an important topic because it's not that easy to understand where is the line, right? So this is why we decided to structure this program with both technical informations, mindset informations, strategy, long-term vision, and all the stuff. Because also you have to understand, you have to be able and see that line and see if we are in the hype stuff or if actually all these people excited make sense. I don't know.
Right.
If you want to add something, but basically this is some. I mean, you can see this. Maybe also talking with your friends, because if you are in this world, I'm sure you have some friends, and when that friends came to you and says, "Bro, we have to invest in this project. We must." But if it doesn't know how to explain the reasons to you and just say, "Oh, I've seen thousands of people following the pages. I've seen a lot of people trying to get in the whitelist if this is an NFT project or whatever. I've seen a lot of people commenting on that YouTube video that they made money out of this." If any of your friends is going at this stuff with you about we must invest in this and you are excited but they don't understand why, take a step back and maybe watch again this video and wait a little bit before you decide.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I want to add something. I know as you saw in the introduction of this program, repetition is so important, it's so key while you are studying. So I'm going to repeat something that I think we already talked about in a couple of lessons ago with Simone and Edward about how to take decisions. And this is something that when I understood this, it really changed my perspective on any decision I had to make. And, it's about just asking yourself the right questions, because when you're overwhelmed by all of these informations, emotions, and news about that come from other people, just asking yourself the right questions can give you a switch in your perspective, can give you a new point of view, a new way of looking at things. And the questions I ask myself, and this is just my to say, this works for me. I think it's gonna help all of you guys, because it's already helping different students I have. And it's about asking yourself, for example, you have a project in front of you, right? And you think it's a great project. You think it's going to explode, right? And just ask yourself, okay, for example, you have to invest 1K, 1,000 or 5,000, whatever, or 100,
Right.
And you're there with your 1,000. Maybe you have not that much money, so you are a little bit, you are thinking about that, right? But there is this hype, and you are feeling this FOMO, because that's it. That's the problem. You're feeling the fear of missing out. If I don't buy this now, in 2 months, it will be 10x, whatever, right? And so ask yourself, what if this goes great? This is the same question we talked about.
What if this goes amazingly well?
Yeah, like that most incredible vision you can have about the project. Great. Okay, let's play a little bit with that and then go back. Okay.
Build the image, right? Just build the image and write that down and just focus.
Exactly. And then what if this becomes my worst case scenario, like ever?
What if you lose everything?
Exactly. That's it. Basically, everything crash and you lose money.
This becomes Luna.
Exactly. What if this becomes Luna? Can be a great question. So, and then the last question is, could I live with that? I don't refer to the great,
and this is key. I think that, I remember reading about some financial crisis in the 80s and people committing suicide because they lost their sense of identity of who they had become. So you really need, whenever you take a decision, you really need to see both sides of stories and see if you lost everything with that, would that be okay with you?
Exactly. That's it.
Because at the end of the day, it's everything has risk, right? And there's a lot of volatility out there. So you really need to go in depth with that and take a clear view, a clear decision, a clear perspective on that matter, right?
Yeah.
I would also like to advise everybody, we tend to see things in black and white, right? There's one thing and there's the bad guy. There's the hero and the bad guy. And life doesn't necessarily is like that, If you want to become a successful trader, a successful investor, someone that crushes financially, you really need to start thinking in different levels. You really need to question that main narrative of things.
Yeah.
You really need to ask yourself different type of questions, because for sure it will bring out different type of answers, and those answers will empower you to not get caught up in whatever everybody else is doing. Remember, I always remember one of my first mentors told me, observe the masses and do the opposite. I don't necessarily agree with do the opposite, but I agree of observe the masses and question everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Observe what's the narrative out there and question it.
Yeah.
Because if you act emotionally out of what's happening in the world, you will always be an emotional creature.
Yeah.
And you will always be caught up with the 99% of the population out there.
Yeah.
And if you want to become rich, if you want to become extraordinarily wealthy with this type of industry, you really need to ask yourself different questions. And that's what's going to differentiate you from the masses.